Hey there, this is Teagarden with episode 41 of the Unveiled podcast, and I am continuing getting near the end of this book for women only. What you need to know about the inner lives of men, and this is chapter 9, and I'm a little afraid of chapter 9. It says, the truth about taking care of yourself, why what's on the outside matters to him on the inside. And she has a little quote, you don't need to be a size 3, but your man does need to see you making the effort to take care of yourself, and he'll willingly help you. So don't turn me off. I feel like this chapter is a bit of a minefield, but it's not meant to be guilt-inducing or make you feel worse about yourself. God created us beautiful, and he created us all different. So no guilt here. In fact, if you really struggle with this issue, maybe just skip this episode. But if you want a reason to buy new clothes, pay for a health coach, and just get more motivated to do what you already really want to do, then keep listening. And please give yourself grace throughout this whole episode. Funny story, when I was working in San Jose in my late 20s and I was still very tiny, this young Hispanic coworker took me aside one day and said, I don't know how to tell you this, but you really should gain some weight. Men like women with some meat on their bones. Your husband's just probably afraid to tell you. And I thought that was hilarious. But clearly it shows there's no right weight to be at. And it can vary from culture to culture, from man to man, what looks sexy. So keep that in mind. But I know what we're all thinking is, what's on the inside? Shouldn't that matter more? Well, yes. I don't think any guy wants a really evil, good-looking wife. There is so much of our beauty that emanates from the inside. I think true beauty comes from an inner joy and peace, and that's what makes people really attractive. So most of us, I think, will agree that this shouldn't be an issue, but according to Mrs. Feldhahn's survey of 1,000 men, it is. And even men feel guilty that they care about what we look like. Like, they know that they shouldn't, but they do. According to Shaunti, men want us to know that they really appreciate it when we make an effort to look good. They just feel like they can't say that. But when we make the effort, the guy feels like, hey, she cares about me. It's a way of him feeling loved by us. Okay, what is Shaunti not saying here? She's not saying that we should be like those fake images in the media or look like a Barbie doll. There are some things about our bodies we can't do anything about. So the only thing that she's referring to in this chapter is things we can do something about. And I found that most women feel better about themselves when they're dressed in clothes they like, when they have a hairstyle they like, when they're at a weight they're happy with. So do this for yourself as much as anything. And our breasts are just fine, whatever size they are, because it's how God designed us. And your husband fell in love with you with the body that you have. I used to think my husband would be happier if I was more voluptuous, but I came to realize that's just a lie of the enemy, trying to make me feel bad about how God created me. In fact, Shaunti found in her survey that men wish we weren't so sensitive about our bodies. You are fundamentally beautiful. This isn't about judging beauty. A good example, for the past 6 weeks or so, I have been cleaning out my in-laws' house. And before we cleaned any of it out, they always kept all the shades closed. They had really a lot of piles of paper cluttering up the place, lots of furniture. And it didn't look all that pretty, but it was comfortable. But then my sister-in-law came in and she decluttered it, took out like half the furniture and opened up the shades. And I couldn't believe the difference. That beauty was beginning to shine through again. Then we emptied out everything. We hired professional cleaners. And wow, it's looking even more beautiful. A coat of paint in this house would be gorgeous. There was nothing wrong with their home. It was always beautiful. It was just hiding under a layer of clutter and needed some tender, loving care. And that may be true for you as well. You are beautiful, but maybe some of that beauty is hiding. My sister-in-law also told me a story about how she had staged a house that was going to be for sale, and after she staged it, the people did not want to sell their house. They found out that it was beautiful all along. So this issue is very complicated, and us women can be so hard on ourselves, and sometimes we can be resentful that our men care what we look like. It doesn't mean you can't have days where you're not feeling good and you look terrible. Okay, we're all going to wake up with messy hair and no makeup on. We're not like those Hallmark movies where they wake up all put together. Our men don't want us to be perfect. They don't want us to be some unachievable ideal. If that is what your husband wants, that's unrealistic, and you need to get a trusted friend to set him straight. And this isn't about our husbands loving us more or less. It's understanding that he cares for us. He cares about what we look like because he's visual, but also he wants us to have energy and all of that. I knew a woman who was very large. She dated a thin guy, and the weight issue was just a thing between them. And she finally broke up with him and found a large man, and they're much happier together, and they ended up getting married. She found a man who appreciated her body style and the joy that was within her. What Shaunti keeps stressing in this chapter is that men care more about the effort that we're putting in than the final clothing size that we're at. If we keep complaining about being overweight, but then we're not changing how we're eating or we're making bad choices, it says we don't care. And Shaunti asked men in the survey this question: true or false? I want my wife or significant other to feel energetic. It is not important that she looked like she did the day we met. It is more important that she make the effort to take care of herself for me now. And 83% said true. I love how she worded that. Some may be thinking, but God looks not on the outward appearance, but on the heart. And we believe our husbands should do the same. After all, he pledged for better or for worse. Well, this is true. But, we may be using that as an excuse towards complacency and letting our appearance degrade. And that'll just make us feel bad about ourselves, too. Let me interject some of my thoughts here. I think that we women often care about how our men look as well. Maybe it's just me. My husband can't understand why I don't want him to wear shirts that have really worn out ratty collars or way out of style. To me, it says he doesn't care about his appearance. And I think how we dress says something about how much we care about ourselves. Most of us are going to love our husbands even if they go bald because they can't help that. However, if they don't shower or brush their teeth for days on end, I guarantee most of us are going to say something. So sometimes it helps to look at this from the opposite point of view. Shaunti likens this desire of men to our desire for romance. Maybe it shouldn't matter if our husbands put effort into romancing us, but it kind of does. And the same goes for the men with appearance of their wives. Our men also enjoy doing activities with us. So if we don't feel like we look good in a bathing suit or we don't have enough energy for a fun outing, then that keeps us from doing certain activities together. I love this quote that was in the book by one guy, which may help to clarify the effort issue. He says, I'll meet a man whose wife is overweight, but she takes care of herself. She puts some effort into her appearance. She dresses neatly or does her makeup and hair. And if she is comfortable in her own skin and is confident, you don't notice the extra pounds. So there you go. All right, where do we start? Shaunti suggests not asking your husband if he agrees with this. He'll either be afraid to tell the truth or he will tell you the truth and you'll end up being hurt. So just assume that he does. After all, if he doesn't, you're going to feel better anyway. If you feel like you're already doing a great job in this area, then know that your husband appreciates it. Shaunti has some good news items that she lists in this chapter. Good news number 1, your man wants to help you. Only 4 men out of the 400 follow-up survey that she did said they'd be unwilling to help. And those 4 husbands have other problems that they need to deal with. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Good news number 2, there's a revolution in the resources to help you. There are all kinds of proven programs and even health coaches to help you get your weight and your energy on track. Good news number 3, God will help you. God wants us to take care of our bodies, and he will help us do hard things. Philippians 4:13, I can always count on. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So ask God for help and for the resources that you need. And remember, being fit and eating healthy benefits you in so many ways. Don't do this just to please your husband, because that is not going to keep you going when it gets hard. Do this both for yourself and for your husband. Keep that end goal of more energy, better health, and feeling better about yourself in mind. Get your husband's support and encouragement. He most likely will be behind you 100%. Don't know where to start? Well, what's bugging you the most? Is it your hair, your energy, your weight, your wardrobe? Start there. Ask your friends for resources. Everyone knows someone who has succeeded in the area of weight loss and or getting more energy and would love to help you along. And I know several myself if you want a recommendation. My email is Anne, ANNE, @synergiamm.com. One thing to say, if you have an underlying issue with depression that may be leading to these other issues, go get help for that first. There are so many resources to help you out of a dark pit, and it's hard to care about what you look like when you're stuck in depression. And for everybody, please don't compare yourself with other women. We all have different metabolisms, different body shapes, different genetics. Just be you. Be the best you. God has designed you the way He wants you. And God, like your husband, loves you, imperfections and all. Now, go do whatever you need to feel great about yourself when you look in the mirror. Besides, who doesn't love a great makeover? Remember, you are loved. You are beautiful. Go in peace.